Hello, BookTube. I've got some mail for you today on an absolute picture-perfect start to the week. A beautiful, picture-perfect Monday. The Yesterday got hotter and hotter, and a mass of oppressive, humid air was moving in, and that's all gone. It's crisp and clear outside. And you've only got me in this video, not your precious Christopher. He's not available to make this video because he needs his 17 hours sleep a day. But we've got a lot. We've got a lot to look at here. And the first one I opened off camera. It is obviously a gift from one of you. One of you sent me the new translation of Suetonius' Lives of the Caesars by noted Spider-Man actor Tom Holland. This is a Penguin Classic hardcover. They do, every once in a while, they do a hardcover. Very nice. Very ill-advised. I mean, just think about this purchase that one of you did. It isn't just buying me a book, it's buying me a book you could almost guarantee that I already had. But it turns out I only had the ebook of this. Publisher never actually sent me the finished copy. So it's a pure fluke, a freak of luck. I got a new book in the mail that I actually want. So thank you, whoever sent this. You've got the Roman Gladius on the spine there with the title and the author. And a new translation that I read last night. I read most of it last night, and then the rest of it this morning. And I quite enjoyed it. It's a little bit slangy for my taste. And I understand Tom Holland does not include in this book anything like a translator's ethos, or, he talks about Suetonius, but he doesn't really talk about what he had in mind in terms of translating. If he did, I imagine that the reason for the slangy tone would be that Suetonius is kind of a slangy writer, or at least has a slangy reputation. I'll have to pinpoint exactly what bugged me about that, because that is true, but a lot of what was happening in here seemed condescending in that regard. A lot of the rest of it is really good. So that's a book already open. Thank you very much, whoever sent it. And then we've got packages. We've got packages and boxes. So I'll start this first one, which is nice and shiny. Is it a kid's book? A young adult book? Or is it just shiny because I'm worth it? Let's see. Okay, what is this? I don't recall requesting this. This comes out in late October. This is by Bruce Schneier and Nathan Sanders, and it's called Rewiring Democracy: How AI Will Transform Our Politics, Government, and Citizenship. Let's see here. AI is already transforming how we live, work, and communicate, but how will it change democracy? The two authors are Schneier is a leading technologist, and Sanders is a data scientist. And in this book, they take us methodically through AI's impacts on politics, lawmaking, the executive branch, the courts, and every citizenship. They show how artificial intelligence is reshaping every corner of democratic life, and how we can harness it to make our democracy stronger, not weaker. Far from a distant or hypothetical force, the authors demonstrate that AI is already influencing the drafting of legislation, regulatory enforcement, judicial rulings, and public discourse. These changes raise big questions. Who writes the rules in an AI age? Who benefits? And how do we ensure that the public, not just corporations and autocrats, has a voice? Okay, so this is with the MIT Press, and this comes out in late October, and is, of course, evidently science fiction. Not because AI is all science fiction, even because the authors of this book are just assuming this book is obviously about America. How's this going to reshape things? How's this going to affect the midterms? How's this going to affect the next presidential election? How is an informed electorate going to be able to sort out what's AI and what's not, whether or not AI is giving them good, sound information or not? There are armed troops occupying the capital of this country. There are massed, unidentified, gun-toting armed troops occupying the capital of this country indefinitely. stopping citizens on their stoops or on their street and saying, where are you? What are you doing? How many people in that house? Where do you work? And if you don't answer, yeah, by all means, let's talk in October about how AI is going to affect the midterms. I honestly don't know what anybody needs to see beyond what they're seeing. I think I do know. In one sense, I think I do know, and it is a reflection of the intense solipsism that that personal computers in your pocket produce. We all have this endlessly contoured, bottomless pit of mindless obsession in our pockets, individual to ourselves. And humans are solipsistic by nature anyway. Now you've got that adding to it. So I actually do have, considering that, I do have an answer to my hypothetical bleat about I don't know what more you need to see. I don't know what it's going to take for people to stop doing this, for people to stop talking about business as usual. I say that, but because of that intense solipsism, I know what it will take to make people out there in the world, including you, see this for what it is. And you know what that is? You know what that thing is that's going to cause that to happen? That's going to cause every single 350 million people in this country to say, oh, I get it now. This is really bad. You know what that's going to be? Each one of them individually being shot in the head. Well, that is the ultimate point. That's the ultimate end point of this kind of necrotic solipsism. Is that the only thing that's ever going to convince you that anything's bad is you being killed. So I guess in October I will read about all these wacky things that AI is doing, huh? And maybe you'll read about it too. What are you going to do when this book comes out in October? Are you going to walk to Politics and Prose, buy a copy, hold it like this in your hand so that it's clearly, the word democracy is clearly visible, and walk down the street with it? How are you going to explain that to the Gestapo agent who stops you and says, what's that? What's that you have in your hand? Do you have a receipt for it? Where did you buy it? Okay, you have your receipt. Now tell me why you bought it. What are you going to do when that happens? He's got an AR-15 shouldered on its left shoulder. But by all means, if you can get through that gamut, and I say Washington, D.C., but by the time this book comes out, those troops will be in New York. They'll be in L.A. Permanently. Just permanently. Under law, they can only stay for 2 weeks, but... Anyway, okay, we started off with a rant. We'll put that down. I'm sure it'll be interesting. I suppose there is a paper to be written about how the actual deforestation and human activity at Buchenwald affected the robins in the forest. I'm sure there's a paper, a book to be written about that. How did it affect the robins' lives? Don't you want to know? All right. We'll move on. You're getting a little sense here of what a fun time Christopher's having. Let's move on here. We'll move on to this next one. I'll be much calmer. I'll take a deep breath. Oh, all right. We saw this already. I think we saw the advanced copy of this. This comes out in a month. Less than a month. Just a couple of weeks. This is Ellen Wall, and this is her book, Following the Bend: How to Read a River and Understand Its Nature. When we look at a river, either up close or while flying over a river valley, what are we really seeing? You are seeing a flow of water in a cut channel in the ground. You are not seeing what an earlier book that we looked at this year said you were seeing, which was a sentient being that occasionally watches TV and deserves a vote. You're not seeing that. You're seeing a natural phenomenon. This book takes readers on a majestic journey by water to find answers, along the way shedding light on the key concepts of modern river science, from hydrology and water chemistry to stream and wetland ecology. We'll have to see if it's illustrated. We'll also have to find out about the author. In this accessible and uniquely personal book, the author explains how to read a river, blending the latest science with her own personal experiences as a geologist and naturalist who has worked on rivers for more than 3 decades. So she is a scientist and a specialist in this subject matter, and she is writing a work of natural history in which she combines her expertise with her personal reflections of presumably how beautiful rivers are, or her experiences with rivers in life. And I think we can all agree that is, what was it again? A uniquely personal book. I think we can all agree that approach has never been taken by anyone. She charts how water travels through the hydrological cycle around the globe and downstream to distribute energy, move sediment, and shape river channels, and how living organisms adapt to life in flowing water to create vibrant river ecosystems, including 20-foot saltwater crocodiles. The author looks at the role of disturbances such as floods and droughts and discusses how geologists interpret the sedimentary records of past river processes. Okay, so she is a university distinguished professor in the Department of Geosciences at Colorado State University. She's written a number of books. And she's published... she's written a lot of books. She seems very outdoorsy. That bodes well. All right, so this is early September, following the bend. So we'll move on. We'll move on to this next one. And I will try later in the day to get a video with your precious Christopher. Theoretically, he should wake up sometime. I mean, theoretically, I don't know. Oh my. Okay, this comes out in early September. This is by David Woodman, and it is The First King of England, Athelstan and the Birth of a Kingdom. Princeton University Press. You never let me down. Oh my. All right. This is a foundational biography of Athelstan, who died in AD 939. This is not a foundational biography because it's being written in 2025, but you know what they mean. The early medieval king whose territorial conquests and shrewd statesmanship united the peoples, languages, and cultures that would become known as the Kingdom of the English. In this panoramic work, the author blends masterful storytelling with the latest scholarship to paint a multifaceted portrait of this immensely important but neglected figure, a man celebrated in his day as much for his benevolence, piety, and love of learning as he was for his ambitious reign. This book is set against the backdrop of warring powers in early medieval Europe, and it sheds new light on Athelstan's early life, his spectacular military victories, and the innovative way he governed his kingdom, fostering the church and making deft political alliances. Begins with the reigns of Alfred the Great and Edward the Elder, Athelstan's grandfather and father, describing how they consolidated and expanded the kingdom of the Anglo-Saxons. But it was Athelstan who would declare himself the first king of all England, when in 927 he conquered the Viking kingdom of York, required the submission of a Scottish king, and secured an annual tribute from the Welsh kings. Sounds a little like me on this channel. I demand tribute now. It makes me even more insufferable. No one thought that was possible, but it actually does. So who is David Woodman? He's a note. He has a blurb from Tom Holland. He's a professor and fellow in history at Robinson College, University of Cambridge. And his books include... Oh, he wrote a biography of Edward the Confessor. I wonder if I ever saw that. I wonder if Princeton did that. Well, anyway, September 2nd. A new biography of Athelstan. How incredible. And then we have the boxes. And they're haphazard and homemade. So I'm pretty sure that they are the aforementioned tribute. I'm pretty sure that these are the library book sale of the damned. And some of you were new here. Some of you were drawn here like moths to the flame by seeing Christopher's face in a thumbnail. And you might not know what that means. That means that you will still go to your library book sales. They're so much fun. But you're not going for yourself anymore. You're going for me. You're getting books for me. You're sending me pictures of what's on the shelves and waiting for me to email you back and say what I want you to buy and send to me. That's now how library book sales work. I am unsure yet. I haven't decided whether I'm going to continue this in the winter. I may. Or I may not. That's just the price you pay for living in Stevonia. Let's see what this first one is. Oh, this is from J. Scott Frazetta. Wonderful. This comes from the other side of the country. What have we got here? Oh, right. Oh, right. I was a little naughty in emailing Scotty. I was a little naughty. He sent me pictures of some doubles and discards in his own library. This is not from a library, a municipal library. And he said, "I'm getting rid of these. Are there any that you want?" And I said, "There are 2 that I want, and I want you to throw in a third from your shelves. That's not a discard because it has to be a complete set." And he politely but firmly said no. And this is the result. Let me show you what I mean. There's this, The Coming of Conan. These Ballantine trade paperbacks with original artwork. So you've got spot illustrations, but you've also got full-page illustrations all throughout these volumes. This is original artwork. These books put all of Conan's stories in publication order. They're lovingly done. And when I saw this in the pictures that Scotty sent me, I thought, wow, you've given those away so many times, and you have the ebooks, but you don't have the print books at all. And there are 3 of them. There are 3 volumes for all of Conan. And The Coming of Conan was right there in the picture, and The Bloody Crown of Conan was right there in the picture. And then there's the 3rd Conan volume, Solomon Kane, The Adventures of a Puritan Hat. And I wrote and shrilly said, well, okay, I don't want Solomon Kane because he's a dumb, lame-ass character. I want the 3rd Conan volume. And Scotty mentioned, well, I don't have a double of that. And I wrote back and said, well, no, I didn't say anything about you having a double of that. You have the book. Find it and include it with these 2. And that's when I got the aforementioned polite but firm no. So instead, as a consolation prize, and also to taunt me, to poke the bear, he included all the Solomon Kane stories, which I don't have. I don't have a collection of Solomon Kane stories. Solomon Kane was a critical misfire on the part of Robert E. Howard. He's a Puritan adventurer who wears a hat. He has a Puritan hat on. And he has adventures. They're historical. You need to bone up. You probably need to read a couple of history books before you can read these. There's nothing in this even remotely approaching the mythic appeal of Conan the Barbarian. Nothing at all. But dude bros love Solomon Kane because of the hat. And maybe it's time that I revisited these stories. Actually, I've never actually looked at the artwork in here. Oh, that was some really good stuff. It's a lovely volume to have. I will patiently await. Was that another full-page picture that I saw? Oh, this has spot illustrations everywhere, more than in the Conan volumes. Well, this is wonderful. This is wonderful. I will patiently await. I feel certain that Scotty will have a change of heart, and that 3rd Conan volume will make its way to me. I feel certain that will happen. But in the meantime, I suppose, thank you. I honestly don't know why you people put up with me. And then we have the 2nd box, which is from Janet Workman, the noted Tudor novelist, Janet Workman. And it is... Oh, God. Oh, God. Okay. It is over-taped. Better safe than sorry, I suppose. Of course, my scissors are nowhere to be found. There we go. All right. Let's see what she has sent. She has sent me, a needy, book-greedy tyrant, on the butt end of booktube. She says, oh, wonderful. Fantastic. Oh, this is Lucille Morrison. Look at this. It's in perfect condition. The Lost Queen of Egypt. Lucille Morrison. I have never owned a copy of this book. Oh. Oh, fantastic. So what have we got here? In the city of Akhenaten lived a princess who, from early childhood, knew herself destined to share a throne. We come to know and love this girl through the events of her colorful career and her marriage to a lad of royal birth, the discovery of whose tomb 30 centuries later amazed the world. Akhenaten's efforts to save her kingdom from designing priests and soldiers were gallant and dramatic. The actual fate of this girl queen is unknown. In her story, Mrs. Morrison ventures to suppose an ending to the romance that is both logical and satisfying. So this is a novel. Yeah, this is a novel. A historical novel from the 1940s? 1937. Fantastic. If I had been at a library book sale and seen this, I'd have grabbed it. I don't go to the library book sale here in Boston anymore because they won't deal with the book dealers. It happened the first time, and it irritated me. It happened the second time, and it irritated me. The third time, I went to the person who runs the library sale at the library, for the Friends of the Library, and said, that really irritates me, and I'm not the only one. Everybody was looking death daggers at these guys. Why don't you do something about it? It's easy to do something, and plenty of library book sales do something about it. The easiest way in the world is to make either shut off Wi-Fi in that room or make everyone surrender their phones at the door. You'll solve the problem right away. There won't be any of these loathsome dealer creatures. They don't know anything about books. They don't care about books at all. They're scanning things mindlessly, looking for a nickel profit on eBay. If you make it so they can't scan anything, or where it does them no good, they don't get instantaneous information, they'll disappear. They'll go scan shoes instead, or something like that. But anyway, this next one. Oh, right, a hardcover of Being Bernard Berenson. Bernard Berenson was the art buyer for Isabella Stewart Gardner. In the Gardner Museum here in Boston, he filled that building with artwork. He wasn't always scrupulous about provenance. He wasn't always scrupulous about chains of ownership. He was always scrupulous about the gigantic piles of money that Isabella Stewart Gardner gave him to make all this happen. And this... You've seen this book on this channel before. I often find this in an orange-spine Penguin trade paperback. And I always grab it and always regret it. I love the book, but I always grab it in that format. It's probably here in that format. And that format is not workable. It just isn't workable. And I don't often see the hardcover, so that's great. Fantastic. And then, oh, right. Oh, good. This has come up on this channel. This author has a new book about the history of the atom bomb. And when I was talking about that new book, I was referencing the previous book that really stuck with me. I loved it. And I was gratified to see that a lot of people in the comments said the same thing. They had that light go off in their head. Oh, right, I remember that book. I remember really liking it. We had the same experience because I sort of filed it out of my mind until the new book came out and mentioned it. And a lot of you had done the same thing. It's this. The author is Garrett Graff, and the book is The Only Plane in the Sky. A history of 9/11, when, for a little while, all planes were grounded in the United States. So skies were empty. This is really, really good. And now, that's great. Now it came up. It was in a library book sale, and now it's here, where it belongs. So there you go. That was a slightly more contentious mail haul than I planned, but there you go. That was the mail. So we got a gift from one of you from Amazon, a bunch of new books, we have a bunch of old books. Wonderful. So I'm going to wrap this up, but I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.